I'm Sue Barlow and welcome to Cape House Cooking. Today I'm going to make a fantastic dish for you. It's got chicken rolled up and inside is a beautiful feta, believe it or not, mayonnaise, garlic, kale, Kalamata Greek olive, and a little bit of spices mixture. That's just fantastic. I absolutely love this recipe. It's definitely one of my husband's favorites, and I told him I was going to do this show, and he can't wait to eat what I make for dinner tonight. So let's get going. I need a couple of chicken breasts, which I have here, and you need them thin. So there's two ways to get sort of thin chicken. You can, or three maybe. You can buy it already thin, or you can pound it thin. But I like to just slice it thin. Just slice it lengthwise, lay it flat. Use kind of your hand to hold it down. Just give it a nice slice through. Watch your hand. And I find this is the fastest, easiest way, rather than buying them, to get what you need. There we go. So now we have our 4 chicken breasts that look fantastic, all nice and thin. And we're just going to season them up a little bit and put together our mixture that's going to be the stuffing. For the stuffing, we're going to start with half a cup of mayonnaise. We're just going to put it in our bowl. Okay. And this recipe is so easy to remember too, because it's very even numbers. Half a cup of mayo and then a half a cup of feta cheese. I just buy the crumbles, but if you had a brick of it, you could just crumble it up. Okay, that looks good. There are some big chunks. I'm just gonna mash them down a little bit. A little bit of Italian seasoning. Go. And a squeeze of lemon juice. Squeeze this in. And then 2 cloves of garlic chopped up. So let's see, a friend of mine gave me some garlic from their garden, and it is nice. Big, beautiful pieces. I think it's very easy to grow. I'm gonna have to try growing some myself. Chop this up pretty fine. Oh, that looks good. All right, we'll mix all this up together. One of the great things about this recipe is you can put it all together and stick it in the fridge. It's a wonderful make-ahead dish, and it's so pretty when it's done that it's wonderful to serve to guests or for a party. I love things I can make ahead. Now I have my kale, which I need to chop up. I'm going to take this tough middle vein out that's really big. that kale can be pretty tough and chewy, so we want to boil it a little bit and get it a little bit softer. And then we have to chop up also our olives. So I like to put, just a handful of Kalamata olives chopped up in this dish. A little bit of pepper's nice. Get some pepper in there. And then we're going to get our olives out. You don't need a ton. Kalamata olives have such a great flavor and they mix so well with feta and kale. I mean, it's just a great combination, and lemon juice. But I do love, you don't have to add these if you don't have them. This recipe works great even without them. And you can certainly substitute spinach for kale. I've made it both ways. If you have spinach on hand, but not kale, that's totally fine too. And again, the spinach, I would, parboil it a little bit just to break it up some, break it down a little bit. And then, you have to drain it really well, and you don't want too much liquid in this filling. You don't want it too liquidy. And even adding the olives, there's some juice in there that, changes the consistency a little bit. So you just want to be careful of that. To go along with my stuffed chicken, I'm going to make a beautiful sweet potato casserole, and the nice sweetness of this sweet potatoes, along with the saltiness of the stuffed chicken with the feta and the mayo and the lemon juice, is just going to make this fantastic sweet and salty combination that really goes well together. So I've peeled 4, I would say medium sweet potatoes. If you have large ones, I'd probably only do 3. And then just cut them into chunks. Kale's looking nice and tender, so about 8 to 10 minutes boiling the kale. So you really want to make sure you drain all the water out of this kale. And if you see any tough little bits, like this might be kind of tough, you can just get rid of it. Good time to check it over, make sure that it's all gonna be tender. Like I said, we're just gonna squeeze this water out. Give it a good chop just so it doesn't clump up. Now that I've squeezed it so hard, it all wants to stick together and be clumpy. I think it'll be easier to mix it up in the bowl. If we give it a good chop. You can see how nice and dry that is now too. That's good. I just love the flavors of this all coming together. So we're going to use toothpicks to pin this in place. Once we roll it up with our stuffing in it. Some toothpicks out. And I'm going to use prosciutto. You can use bacon. My husband Tom likes bacon better. I like the prosciutto. Sometimes I think the bacon gets a little bit greasy. All right, so we're just going to take a scoop of our filling. Just divide it among these 4 pieces of chicken. And the wonderful thing too is this is going to make a great juice in the pan that you put over it. Oh my gosh, so fantastic. And if some comes out the side, it's no problem. You can just get it back in there when we're plating. And it's been cooked. All right, there's that. I hate to leave any of this goodness out, but only so much fits on these chicken breasts. So then we just fold it up like so. Bring this bottom piece up. Everything tucked in there. Okay. Just hold them together. Now, okay. There we go. This one's split a little bit in the back, and that's okay. We'll just put a little toothpick there to hold it together, like so. All right. We're going to get our prosciutto. I'm just going to wrap it around it. There, beautiful. Just perfect. Put an extra toothpick in here. Just make sure you don't eat them. You have to take them out or warn your guests about them. Okay. Toothpick in here just to keep it all together. And pat it on the sides to keep everything in place. And here's the last one. One extra little one here. All right, there they are. This one's quite a bigger one, but I think because they're all, cut to the same thinness, even though this one's a little bit bigger, they'll cook the same and they'll be perfect. So we're just going to put them in a baking dish and cover them really tightly and bake them for 1 hour at 375. So I've preheated my oven. All right, so we have our baking dish. All we have to do is set these in here. Our sweet potato chunks are boiling up nicely. Well, that's good. So we're going to cover our chicken very tightly with aluminum foil. And at this point, you could just put it in your fridge and serve it later that day. Make ahead early, and it'll be worry-free. You can just take it out a little bit ahead of time, let it come to, warm up a little bit from the refrigerator, stick it in your preheated oven, 375 degrees, and cooks for an hour. And when your guests are here and you're ready to serve, you just pop it in, and an hour later, voila. Well, there's that. We'll set a timer for 1 hour. All right, so on to working on our sweet potato. So there's two parts to the sweet potato casserole. There's the topping and, of course, the sweet potato itself. So we're going to parboil our sweet potatoes for about 20 minutes until they're very soft. And we're going to mix that together with a 1/4 cup, which is a 1/2 stick of butter melted. Get that going. So both the casserole itself and the topping called for a 1/2 stick, a 1/4 cup of melted butter. So that's easy. We'll just do this 2 times. There's 1. There's 2. Okay, so for the topping we need 1 cup of chopped pecans. So here's our cup. You can buy them already in pieces. I just happen to have whole pecans, so no problem. Just chop them up. That looks pretty good. Melted butters are hopefully melted. All right. So we're going to mix together our melted butter. And then 1 cup of brown sugar. One teaspoon of cinnamon and a 1/3 cup of flour. Okay. Okay. Set this aside. Mix all this up. Okay, we're going to add in our 1 cup of chopped pecans. All right. That's our topping. So we have to mash up our sweet potato that's been drained out nice and soft. We'll just mash this up. Easy peasy. Make this nice and smooth. We're going to add 3/4 teaspoon of salt. 1/4 and a 1/2. Okay. 1/8 teaspoon of nutmeg. Okay. I'm going to need 1/3 cup of brown sugar. Okay. Two beautiful large eggs. I guess all the eggs in Massachusetts, by law, new law passed, have to be cage-free. So just think that chickens are happier. All right, so there you go. Look at that, beautiful. It's light and smooth, creamy. I bet it's delicious. all that goodness in there. What a pretty color too, I must say. You like that orangey color. You know, something about sweet potatoes that just remind you of fall, winter. Must be that pumpkin coloring. Now we're going to sprinkle on our topping. Spread it around evenly. I'm going to bake this for about 35 minutes, uncovered. There we go. So now that works out nicely because in about 35 minutes our stuffed chicken breast will be done and our sweet potato casserole will be done. So we can have it all nice and hot out of the oven at the same time. So I'll see you in 35 minutes. Okay, well the timer went off, so let's see how it is out of the oven. Oh, wow, there's our beautiful sweet potato casserole and our stuffed chicken. Let's see. Oh, wow. These look amazing. Let's see if I can hold that up for you. And there's some wonderful juice there. You want to make sure you put some of that juice on the plate too. So let's see if we can plate one of these up. This is a nice one. And some of this casserole. Oh, wow. Doesn't that look wonderful? Yeah. And I made a little bit of steamed rice. I just happen to have some on hand, so thought that might go nice. Oh, and I do want to get some of that juice on here. Boy, does that smell good. And I like a little bit of juice on my rice. All right. And take out the toothpicks. All right. Here goes. Oh, look at that. It's just so pretty. It's beautifully stuffed. That is beautiful. You can taste the Kalamata olives and the garlic and the feta and the kale. The kale is a beautiful addition. And like I said, you could always substitute a spinach instead of the kale. Or if you don't like vegetables, you know, you don't have to use any. Just skip the greens altogether. Oh. Well, this is a decadent vegetable. It could easily be a pie. That sweet potato is so creamy. And it's got just that little bit of salt and cinnamon, nutmeg. Together, they are amazing. A little bit of rice, some of that nice juice. It's a beautiful dish. It's a make-ahead dish, and it's a delicious dish. Well, thanks so much for watching this episode of Cape House Cooking. I'll see you next time.